Hi everyone, and welcome to the next class of Viewpoints, Enlightened Perception for a Peaceful Future. And today we are going to talk about this phenomena where you see in the news and in our governments and in our social circles where people say, I'm right and you are wrong. It happens in our families. It's this perspective that becomes kind of stuck in its viewpoint, and it can be really destructive, and it really adds to polarization. So today we're going to look at what it is, and I'm going to give you some tools for dealing with it. So hold on tight, let's get going. We've all seen it. It's been in the newspaper, we've seen the discussions that our government has, we've seen it at our family gatherings when somebody believes they are right and the other person is wrong. It is really at the heart of polarization, and it's really divisive. Now, if you've been following this course since the beginning, you'll have an idea of why this happens. Why do some people believe they're right and the other person is wrong? And just right now, I'm just going to give you the initial key reasons why that happens. So firstly, as you'll have seen in the rest of the course, people believe that they are right. They believe that how they see reality is how it is. This is how it occurs to me, so they think that their viewpoint is the correct viewpoint. So they're under the illusion that their thoughts are the truth. And as we know from the previous classes, that's just not true. Our thoughts are only an indication of how we see it or how it occurs to us. And we also know from our previous classes that we can never know the total truth, that there's always more to say, there's always more to know in any one situation. We are not the arbiters of the truth. So for someone to say, I am right, I am totally right, and you are totally wrong, then they have to believe that they have all the information and that their view is the correct view. So, if you're smart and you're in a debate, you're always going to mention either that you don't have all of the facts, but you might have a lot of the facts, and you're always going to reserve an element of doubt in terms of what you say, because as we know, you can never be totally sure. There always has to be an element of doubt in anything that you say. Hold your hypothesis tentatively. Hold your views gently. We can never know for sure. So when you have someone or groups of people that believe they are right, well, they just throw all of that wisdom out the window. So as you know, and as I've told you through the series, we look at reality through many different filters, different lenses that affect how reality shows up for us. And I'm just going to talk to you about some of those filters right now and how they're relevant to this conversation about me being right and you being wrong. So the first filter that we listen through is, do I agree with you or do I not agree with you? Do I like what you're saying? Do I not like what you're saying? Now just think about it. Whenever we listen or whenever I listen to anyone, one of the filters that I'm listening through is, do I agree with them or do I not agree with them? Look, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a useful filter to look through, but it's very important just to notice that we're not really listening totally to what someone's saying. We're listening to it through a filter. Now, how does that filter affect your experience of the conversation? When you're listening to someone and you're listening through that filter, does that affect how you hear them? Generally speaking, it does affect, because it's always listening in terms of whether you agree with it or not. Now, another filter that people listen through and also how they view reality through is about looking good and avoiding looking bad. And a lot of the time, this plays into this polarized conversation of I'm right and you are wrong. People want to look good, they want to look right, they want to look like they have the right answers. They want to look like they have the moral high ground, and they want to avoid looking bad. And what does bad mean? Maybe looking bad means they've got the wrong answer. Maybe it means they don't have all the facts. Maybe what they thought was totally true isn't totally true. In our society, it's generally not okay for people to admit that they got things wrong, they got their facts wrong, or they did something that was wrong. It's not encouraged. So that human ego, that part of ourselves that wants to look good and avoid looking bad, a lot of the time it can become really attached to its viewpoint, because if it admits that its view is wrong or it's not totally true, that would be very bad for them. Now, wisdom tells us that human beings get things wrong. We all get things wrong. We are not perfect human beings. Yeah, we don't have a perfect track record, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's okay for us to mess up. That's just normal. But when people really become attached to their viewpoint, they don't think it's okay to mess up, and they think they don't want to look bad. So this is one of the key forces that really shapes how we attach to our viewpoint, how we attach to our opinion. So another thing that people do is they don't just attach to the viewpoint, but they attach to the group that has the viewpoint. Yeah, how often have you seen it in religious discussions, in political discussions, into cultural or ethical discussions, into discussions about war? There's always different groups, and a lot of people like to associate with the group. Yeah, they like their group. Maybe they're Labour supporters, maybe they're Conservatives, maybe they're Republicans, maybe they're Democrats, maybe they're pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine. There are different groups, and people like to associate with that group. And what is that association? Well, they like to tell themselves, we're the good guys. I'm the good guy, and we're all the good guys. Now, as you know, that's a generalization, right? You can never know that everyone is the good guy. You might like to think you do. And not only are we the good guys, we have the right views, we have the right opinions, but those people over there, they're all bad, all of them, and they're all evil. So you see, that is also how people become attached to their viewpoint. They associate with the group, and they like to think, yeah, we've got it going on, and they haven't. So again, it becomes an ego thing, because someone or some people like to associate with those people, with those ideas, and they want to look good and avoid looking bad. So there are many different ways that we can attach to our viewpoints. So here's the question: how can we step out of this I'm right, you are wrong philosophy? What can we do about it? Well, as I said, the first thing is that everyone has a viewpoint. Like, we stand on a point of view. So what do we need to do? We need to step off our point of view. Yeah, literally, you can take one step to one side, but when you step off your point of view, you can see it from another person's perspective, or see it from a different perspective to the one you had, right? So this is a very simple idea of just stepping off your viewpoint. Yeah, it's metaphorical, but you can also do it by realizing that you are standing on a viewpoint. You have a viewpoint. And when you step off your viewpoint, you can see that you're not connected to it. You are separate to your ideas and beliefs. We are complex human beings. We have many different thoughts and many different ideas, and we are not always attached to our viewpoint, okay? Another thing that we can do is we can change our language. Yeah, and instead of saying I am right, this is how it is, right, using that word is, which is basically saying this is the truth, we can start to use more flexible language, like this is how it occurs to me, this is how it seems to me, based on my experience, this is how I see it. You see, we're shifting it from I'm right to you are wrong to this is how it seems, this is how it occurs to me. You see, it's very different. It's softer, it's gentler, it's less accusational. And as I've said before, we can all hold our ideas, hold our opinions with an element of doubt. We can reserve judgment. You or me, none of us can be totally sure about our opinions. And if we can hold them a bit more loosely, you don't know for sure that other person is wrong, and you don't know for sure that you are right. Now, you might strongly hold your view, and that's okay. You can strongly hold your view, but at the same time, it's when we believe that we have the truth, the 100% truth, and that other people are bad, wrong, and evil because of it. You see, that's the extreme. It's okay for us to disagree, and it's okay for us to strongly disagree. I can strongly hold my views, but it's when I absolutely, rigidly, 100% believe them under all circumstances and everyone else is false, then that's where the problems begin. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the class today. If you've got any questions, put them underneath the video and I can answer them for you, and I will see you soon. See you later.